All right. Hello. Welcome to the Brilliant Squad. Almost said Sculpted Brilliance. That's how long it's been. Brilliant Squad call. Just recapping Summit with those of us who were there and those of us who were not there. Hopefully you can get something out of this, or maybe just get inspired to go ahead and buy your ticket before it goes up in price. It's going to be so much fun next year. It's the 20th anniversary for Beachbody, and they already go all out like on a normal week or a normal year. So I can't even imagine what's going to be happening next year for Summit. So get your tickets if you haven't already, and we will have another fun, amazing, wonderful trip like we did this time. But we kind of just wanted to hop on and share like some of the stuff that like we felt like we've all been at different times. Like Jennifer, this is her first time. Ileana's been there for 3 years. Michelle's been 2 years, but not back to back. I've gone 4 years. Sheena, 3 years. April, 2. And so kind of just like everywhere, you know, like all over. I will say for me personally, and I don't know if anybody else felt this way, but this was like a really great summit for me. I cried a lot, which is what I did my first summit. Even before even going to my first summit, I cried just seeing like all of the stuff that was going to go on. Like I walked across the stage at my first summit. I spoke on stage at my first summit. So I almost feel like my first summit was not the like, I don't know, like it was just so much and I was so exhausted that this summit right here was actually my favorite so far. I just feel so invigorated. I feel like as a whole team of like Beachbody in general, last year was very like mundane, and I think everybody kind of felt like a drop because we had to switch over to a digital platform, and that was new. And I think that a lot of people kind of questioned where we were headed because we've always been the DVD brand, you know, and we were wondering how are you going to continue to produce volume if you're giving everyone everything that they want in a 1-year package sort of thing. And I think that this year we have like just really kicked it into high gear, and everybody is back to being like super Beachbody motivated and everything else. So there was a couple of things that stood out for me, and there was actually a training that I got to go to, a leadership training that I will talk about later, sort of just like that went into more detail for leaders that I'd love to share with you guys. But first of all, I want to hear from some other people. How did you feel? What were some things that stood out for you in your trainings or in your general sessions or something like that? I loved the venue this year. It was super easy to get around versus the prior years where everybody was separated. So that I'm really glad that we're back in Indy next year. Anybody else want to jump in and kind of give their thoughts on a couple of things? All right, Sheena.
I will. I'm like, I need to figure out how to unmute. So kind of like you said, like I feel like over the 3 years, each summit has been really different. Like the first year was just like, bam, so overwhelming. And honestly, like we did a lot of partying that year. So I think it was more, like it was a lot more social for me the first year. And it was like, okay, all right, I want to be up there. I want like, it helped me set goals.
Yeah.
And then last year it was like, kind of like a push, like, hey, a year has passed and you're not doing much more than what you were. And so it like kind of like it was like a learning. I felt like I learned more because the first year I was like, I'm here to party and I kind of know what I'm supposed to do. So, but I want to do more. And then, you know, but this year was like kind of like you said, like just fighting tears, like a lot of self-reflection on and I mean, obviously we're our own worst critics, like all the shit that I'm not doing, and not doing for my team and that kind of thing. And it helped. I think that the personality trainings, I would love to do more of that kind of thing, because I think that my entire, like a lot of people on my team are nothing like me. So I need to like, it was like a self-reflection for me to say, hey, these people are very different than you, and you need to figure out how to work with them. And that is why you are doing and not doing what you're doing. Because of the personality that I am, it's like, no, like, what do you mean you don't get this? Like, why aren't you doing it? So that's just that, like, it was like, stop, this is not, and so it was a lot of that kind of moment for me. And I truthfully have been dealing with some self-diagnosed anxiety and depression over the last few months, and I feel like I've kind of dabbled in sharing that, but not fully. And I've been really down on myself and like negative, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And it was like during that happiness presentation, it was like, wow, the this was huge, and I really needed that. I felt like instead of just teaching us selling technique and things like that, it was really self reflection this year that they were teaching us, almost, and self-analysis.
I agree. And it definitely made me like pull into myself a little more, and really start just thinking more about like how I can, like what I can do, how I can inspire, like what, motivates my team, what helps, and that kind of stuff. So I agree with you 100%. Does anybody else want to reflect real fast before I was going to talk a little bit actually about what you were talking about, Sheena, because Connie Podesta, she did a leadership training with us afterwards, at that thing. So we kind of got a little bit more in depth, like with the personalities in the general session. And then we went into like actually how to use those personalities for your team a little bit more. And she gave us like a little free thing, which I will give you guys the info for. I think that would be okay. Michelle, go ahead.
I kind of agree with Sheena. Like, I think there was a lot of like self-reflection and a lot of, some of the trainings we were kind of joking like, oh, this is really basic and I already know how to do Instagram and I already, know how to do this and that. But I think some of the themes about like believe in yourself was like the overlying theme, which I have trouble with. And something else that really stuck out to me is speaker after speaker that I listened to said, I started this and then I didn't know what to do. I just went home and I figured it out. Like everyone kept saying, I figured it out. I figured it out. And I was like, is this like what's speaking to me during this whole conference? Because literally Melanie Mitro said it in that Ignite thing that Jen and I went to. And I was like, oh, that's a really good motto. Just figure it out. Like, oh, because she was saying like, I didn't know how to do Facebook. I didn't have any Facebook friends, but I figured it out. And I didn't know, like then Instagram came along and I didn't know how to do Instagram, but I figured it out. And I didn't know how to manage my time, but I'm like, all right, I guess I need to just figure it out. Like, so I don't know. I thought that was kind of a cool thing. And literally like I heard, and Sheena, you just said it too, when you were talking, I was like, oh my God, figure it out. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's totally like what spoke to me like the whole time. It was weird. Like I said, Jennifer and I went to the Ignite team training thing, which was on Thursday before everything started. And that was like an extra like $30 or $35 or something. I thought it was totally worth it. We heard a lot of really good speakers in like a smaller setting. I think Melanie Mitro talked. Jen, who else talked? Now I'm totally like, you're muted. Some people from compliance. Oh yeah, Ashley Molstead. Yeah, some other people, but it was really nice to hear from them, like separate from what they were doing at Summit, because they didn't just like repeat themselves. It was like totally different stuff. So I recommend if, you see something like that next year, maybe think about going to it, because, you know, you're there for 4 days, you might as well get all you can out of it. So that's kind of, and I've just figured it out.
Jennifer, you're still like, I don't know, we still can't hear you. It's not muted, but I still can't hear you.
No, it's not. It's on my laptop and it's really quiet.
Oh, we got you.
But I saw, was it today or yesterday, that there's another team that does like a post-summit seminar, which, you know, so then they're bringing everything to that seminar and telling you, okay, here's what you've learned, here's how you should take it home and utilize it. So next year, I think I'm going to look for a post-summit seminar too, just to keep the momentum going. But if you guys are not listening to Melanie Mitro, her IG, her podcasts, do it. She is amazing. Some really awesome knowledge that woman can share.
She's awesome. And what I love about, and she said this in the past, she's like, I give you all of my secrets. Like, I tell you exactly what I do and how I do it, because you're either going to take it and you're going to run with it and you're going to be a top 10 coach, or you're going to ignore it and you're not going to do anything with it. So it doesn't really matter. Like, it's not like there's no skin off my back. There's no reason for me to hide it from you, because you're either going to take it and go or you're not, you know? And that was like a big thing for me, because, you know, I don't know, I came across, I don't know who it was that said this quote now that I think about it, but something about like the only thing that separates me and Melanie Mitro is that she's talking to more people than I am. That's it. And that was you, Trisha? You said that? Oh. But like when I heard that, like I was like, yeah. And then Leslie has said that to me once too, because I was like, I haven't hit Success Club 10 and like I'm on a streak. And Leslie was just like, well, if you haven't hit Success Club 10, you're just not talking to enough people. And I was like, well, you're right. I'm not talking to enough people. I guess I better get to work. And that, I always think about that when it's like coming down to the end of the month and I haven't hit my personal goal, which is always at least Success Club 10, then I am like, all right, well, I guess I better do a call to action. I guess I better reach out to all those people that I meant to write names down and get back with and then didn't, because I'm a squiggly circle. And you know, and do that. So that's always like a big thing that's stuck with me. Like, there's literally nothing different. And really there's nothing different, because Melanie has, her children are the same age as my children, except 1 year older, but she started this business 1 year before I did. So it's literally like the same thing. Like, when I started, my kids were the same age as her kids when she started. So like, I can't blame my kids. I can't blame my time. I can't blame, you know, at that time her husband worked, my husband works. Like, I can't blame any of it. I just need to be organized enough to put it together and get to work. And so, you know, that's been a big fire for me. I am going to jump into like a couple of things that I heard from the leadership thing, because I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. And then I also wanted to mention something that I really liked that some girl, Trina Gray, said. And then at the end, if we have time, anybody else would like to talk about what they got out of Summit, I would love to hear it as well. But so one of the things that she actually talked a lot, like Connie Podesta is the woman that spoke at the general session, and she has like a new way of doing personality tests. And she said that she doesn't like using the like personality tests that they all use because you lie to yourself. And so like when you're doing the questions, you're like, okay, which one sounds like the best one for what I'm actually wanting to get out of this? And so she actually just had us, like, she was like, here's 4 shapes. I want you to tell me which shape is the shape for you. And so the shapes are a square, a triangle, a circle, and a squiggle. And so you're just supposed to decide what shape fits you. And then she went through and she like gave us like actual qualities of the shapes. So like as a square, they want to be in control of the situation. They're always on time. They don't like excuses. They don't like to be touched. They don't like to that kind of stuff. Triangles, they want to pick the meeting and where the meeting is. And they're a little more lenient in regards to time, but not much. They still don't like being touched. They don't like excuses. And they don't like small talk. Like they don't want to sit here and listen to you like talk about your day. Like, let's get to business and let's get this done. Which means they also, as like, if you're trying to sell to a triangle, they actually don't care about forming you. Like, they don't want to hear about your, you know, like, oh yeah, me too, girl. And, oh, so how's that movie going and all that. Like, they're just like, let's go, let's get to the point, you know? And then circles are super touchy feely. And it's so funny because, square with the triangle on top. It's so funny because she actually called people up there and like did a couple of different things, and like literally like she called the circles up there and she got like 4 of them, and they all like almost like held hands on stage. Yes, I will send you notes. Yeah. Did not even like plan it or anything, but they literally like all held hands in the thing. And she said that like squares and triangles like to be at least 4 feet away from you. But circles and squiggles they don't want any more than like 8 inches. Like, they are literally like in your face. And they love food. And she said that there's a 60% chance of getting a circle on board if they're eating. So how funny is that? And then they won't buy from you if they don't like you. And then squiggles, I feel like I'm a squiggle is what I said. I have some square tendencies because I don't like to be late. And I have some circle tendencies as in I love touching. And I'm fun, I feel like. But she doesn't ever talk about squiggles very much. Like, I need to go into her website because she is a squiggle. So you would think that she would have all this information about squiggles. And literally in the opening session, she just said that squiggles don't like being told what to do, which don't ever tell me what to do. I will not do it. And then this one, she said that that squiggles buy from anyone that is funny. And then they're pretty much down for whatever, which those all meet me as well. And then she said that triangles are not funny. Squares are not funny. So that triangles think that they're funny, but they're not. Circles are actually funny. And squiggles just love everything and like, you know, whatever. So she also said that like when you're doing a challenge pack sale, that if you lay it out in 2 different options and give them one option that's going to be square triangle based and one option that's going to be circle squiggle based, you'll know who you're talking to in that moment, depending on how they choose to answer. And then you're able to like approach the sale from that point of view at that point. So like, if you are like, hey, do you want us to have like a quick call and you can tell me where you want us to meet, and it's going to be at this specific time, blah, 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 blah. Does that sound good? Or do you want to just kind of talk about it over the day? Maybe we can grab lunch later and and then you like find out which one they are based on what how they answer you. And then you'll know, okay, well, if they're wanting to grab lunch, they're square, they're circle or a squiggle. And if they want like a structured meeting place or a phone call, then they're a triangle or a square. And so that was really interesting to hear. And then because of that, like once you figure out what personality type those people are, you're able to be far more comfortable with them, and comfortable people buy things. So, and like that was really eye-opening for me. So I'll send these notes, I'll type them up and put them in the team page. And then another big, huge, just moment for me was Christina Delgado. She spoke on renovating your business. And so she said that she posted in the roundtable, which is like our 5-star diamond and above group, and asked like, what's something that you want to hear from a leadership training at Summit? I'm doing a leadership training. What would you like to hear? And a lot of people were like, tell us how to rebuild our business, because some of you don't know this, but 2017 was like a super hard year for a lot of people. It was really hard for me. I went from 5-star diamond elite to barely hanging on 1-star diamond. I haven't added very many new people to the team in a while. Like there's just been a huge growing period and a huge stress period, plus I'm pregnant, plus like the business, like the volume is down, plus income is down, and so on and so forth. And so a lot of other people felt the same way. So they just kept saying like, how do I rebuild? How do I rebuild? Da, 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 da. And so she looked up what the word rebuild means, and it says to build after damage or destruction. And so she was like, I feel like that word almost gives too much power to the past and like where we were in the past. And it's very reactive, like we're just rebuilding our business, you know, like we have to start from the ground up. Like we have to put in the hard work, and like it's going to be difficult and it's going to be rough and like all this. And she was like, instead, look at it as renovate. And she said renovating means to restore to life, vigor, or activity. And she was like, and when you think about renovating a house, you think about how much fun it is to get to pick out the new floors and the new walls and the new granite countertops and, you know, all of that stuff. And so that was like something like that's exciting and it sounds fun to do. It doesn't sound like it's stressful or things like that. And so, and then she talked about how like you're not going to go into this one house and be like, we're literally gutting the entire thing and we're starting over and we're going to renovate all of it at the same time. No, you take it room by room. And so rooms in your business are duplication, mindset, leadership, your personal business, your influence on social media, and things like that. And then she says that her husband says, and just, you know, like, keep the negativity, but he said like keep the shit in the bathroom. That's why it's the smallest room in the house. So keep the negativity in the bathroom. Like you don't need that. It's the smallest room in the house. Nobody cares about that part of your thing, you know? So it's like, your business is your home. It might not be the biggest. It might not be the prettiest right now, but it's yours and you should take ownership of it and then go and like envision your growth and renovate your thing. So she said, identify rooms that need renovating first. What strategies can you implement right away? Adjust your expectations because it's not always going to be exactly linear and it's not always going to work like right away. And then set attainable goals. And so she talked about like your personal business. And I loved this quote. She was like, every single time somebody says, all right, let's do this. I'm getting back to business. I'm going to start doing this again. Their first thing is like, all right, I just need to get back to the basics. I just need to get back to the basics, do my workout, drink my shake, and do my personal development. She's like, that's like, don't just get back to basics because you're anything but basic. Like invest in yourself, invest in personal development and a personal coach. Elevate your game by doing that. And then get help with activities that you can delegate. And this doesn't like she personally hires an assistant to do this stuff, but you don't have to do that. Like your husband can help you do a couple of things. Like I've delegated Instagram stuff to Aaron in the past, like, and we'll literally just sit there and watch TV and he'll go through and like follow and comment on people under my Instagram account, just so like he can be doing that while I'm commenting or whatever. It's not, doesn't have to be. Did you take a shower? Go take a shower, Finn. Sorry. And so, you know, delegate the things that like, I like to say if it's not business building, then you don't have to necessarily do it. So that's kind of been like why I have like slacked off on like recognition posts because it's always the same people anyway. And it's like, okay, we know, we get it, but that also like isn't necessarily signing more coaches and it's not necessarily adding more, you know, volume to the team or like whatever the case is. So that's like a number one thing that you and you can go on Fiverr and you can hire an assistant to do like recognition posts for like $5 a month or something like that. Ridiculous. And then on your social media, so you want to renovate your social media accounts. Like, what do you want your message to be? And, you know, how you speak to other people and how you speak and how you use your voice for your leadership matters. And then are you creating faux motion is what she said. So are you creating like this life that other people want to join? And it doesn't have to be this big, like Connie Podesta actually said, she's like, I hate working with network marketers sometimes because you lie to everyone. And she was like you sit there and you're like, I built this entire business, 7-figure income, and I didn't do any work. I just hung out on my boat and I watched sunsets and I toasted with champagne and I blah, blah, blah. And she was like, and then you wonder why there's people that join your team and they don't do anything. She's like, make it out to be a job. And so Christina Delgado was like, yeah, make it out to be a job, but it can still be a fun job. Like, I personally feel like we're having a good time here, right? This is still a training that you guys are able to take and like bring to your team, but it's still fun. So what would you do? You post it on social media that you're having, we've got 10 minutes, that you're having like a, great time with your team and you're learning from new people and you're XYZ doing this and that, but you're still working at the same time. And then she said, like renovating your leadership. So gauge your leadership energy, which is something I really need to work on because my leadership energy is at like a -14. Challenge the status quo in your business, inclusion versus exclusion mentality. So she said that a lot of people always do these things like these diamond retreats and whatever, where like you have to hit a certain goal in your business to be able to go to it. She was like, but what if you make it to where everyone can go to it, but maybe they have to like, maybe there's like different levels to the thing. So like, I was thinking like, I know that Samantha Hawley has done this where like, she's like, we're all going to Utah in like a ski lodge or whatever. And if you are a 2-star diamond or above, I'll pay your spot. Otherwise, if you're a diamond or above, then it's $200. If you're ruby or above, then it's $300 for you to go. Or if you're an emerald or whatever. Are you guys taking pictures of me right now? Please don't. I see you over there, and I'm not okay with it. What are you saying? Are you chatting in the group? All right. And then there's like just accountability on all levels. So you don't have to just have accountability with like the lower level team, like the lower level people. Like you should also have accountability for like even the top people or the top tier that you think maybe don't need your help, but they do. And then duplication, create selling confidence from day one, resist dumbing it down. So there's no reason for you to dumb down like the work that goes into this and things like that. And then drive sponsoring momentum. And then the one thing that I wanted to say about Trina is, so she says that she has like a specific market that she works with because she is a fitness professional. So she only wants to sign up other fitness professionals that want to make more money, so that's her entire thing. Oh my God. Stop. I feel like you're laughing at me somewhere. Anyway, so she says what she does is like she has her challenge group, and when she has a new person that she wants her to join the team, she literally does a coach sneak peek in the challenge group that she's already running, and she just adds them all to the group. And then, she's got the videos and she's got the training and she's got the like, this is what we're doing each day and I'm posting this here. And then she just messages with them and she's like, hey, you've been in my challenge group for the last 5 days. What do you think? She sends them Shakeology samples and she signs them up for a 14-day free trial. And then she's like, what did you think about my challenge group? Do you think that that's something that you can do? Because I see you doing that really well. And I was like, that's pretty genius. Like, that's like, yeah, that this is Trina DeGray. Yes. Like I loved hearing, like, I was like, that's a new way of doing things, because I'm kind of tired of running the same coach sneak peek that no one actually comments on. But if you're running it in your challenge group, then there's already action in there. And if I send them Shakeology samples, I'm going to know from the get-go whether or not they like Shakeology, right? And whether or not they would want to spend money on Shakeology. And then if they see exactly how I run a challenge group, then they're going to see whether or not that's something that they will put their mind into and do. So I really liked that idea a lot, and I plan on implementing it ASAP. Okay, so we have 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I would love to hear if anybody else has anything else that they want to add, or if you have any questions about what I said, and go from there. I just muted myself for like no reason. Like I was literally just like, somebody else speak. All right, Sheena, what's up?
No, I just was like, mic drop.
Yeah, I literally was like, someone else. Boom. I am not talking anymore. I'm going to the group chat so I can find out what you guys are saying about me.
I like that they said, like, have that piece of paper that writes down people's names as they join. And like each month had a different theme. I think that was Danielle that said that.
See, I didn't get to see that training because I was at the leadership.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, because I always watch her and Tanya do it. I'm like, are those real people that they're adding, or are they just doing that because? So I remember when I did it a couple months ago, like I just had a piece of paper and I was writing down people's names in it, and I had like 3 more spots left. All my like totally hit my goal because people want to know that they can't get in, but they do get in.
Yes, that there's also there's actually I'll have to ask Kayleen because she's the one that told me about this. There's a training or like a personal development book or podcast that she was reading that said that like holes want to be filled. So like if you have a set thing and you like mark it out, like it just happens. Like the spots get filled, the things get done. And so I started doing that same thing too, Trisha. And then I also started like you, I guess I'm assuming what you said about this, like taking pictures as they like, or taking their profile picture as they sign up. And then I add that on Instagram stories. Like I'm like, new coach sign up, or new challenger, Jessica, coach.
They have it like on their iPad. Like it's a blank thing on their iPad, and they're writing it on their iPad as they're signing up.
She said she actually had someone message her and say, how do I get my name on your iPad? And I'm like, really? Did you really? But I mean,
shout out. She wanted a shout out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that idea too, because it makes people think like like you asked for 3 people are there. That's it. You're done for the month. Like you asked for 5 people. Oh, well, crap. Those 5 people, that went really fast. So the next time she asks for 5 people, I better raise my hand quickly, because otherwise there are going to be another 5 people that are going to take my spot. So I really like that too. I think that Jatana talked about that in like our initial I'm Here to Help group that was 2 years ago or something like that. Cause she does the same. She like does this whole like new announcement coming soon. And then she makes this video, and then she's like, she shows her list of like 10 names that she needs to fill, and so-and-so.
Super quick, like kind of off of this whole filling a list thing. Like, and maybe I should just go live in the team page because I did this, like I've done it before, but I truly did follow the list of 10, and those were the only 10 people. And when I look at those 10 people and how focused I was, and it was only for 21 days, how focused I was, how committed I was to them and to supporting them, I want to say 8 out of 10 signed up to be coaches. Like when I actually truly kept it that small. And that's something that I've really been doing and really trying to focus on, is just giving all of my attention every single night, not giving myself an option. Like I don't go to bed until I support every single check-in, whether they're mine, whether they're a coach of mine. And I truly, like, I look at the amount of coaches, whether they're discount or business builders, that have joined my team over the last few months, and the overall engagement and challenge groups and stuff has just been blown out of the water with smaller, more focused attention. And I feel better that I'm following through on what I actually promised. Like, I say, I'm going to give you one-on-one support, and I'm actually doing that now.
Right. I love that. And Allie Upham said that at leadership last year. Like, she only allows 10, no matter what. There is only 10 people that go into the group every month. And so I really like that idea as well. Okay, so it's a minute. It's going to cut us off. Thank you guys so much, so much for hopping on. I love that there was this many people on. That was great. I will post this in the team page, and we will make a plan to do these again. Sound good? All right. Bye, guys.